Let's talk about Google's free website. They have two services. We're going to take a look at both of them today. So our agenda is finding the apps. They're available through your Google account. We'll take a look at Google Sites. We'll take a look at Blogger, and we'll try and figure out what's right. The great thing about these are both free services. You don't have to pay anything for them. So it's possible for anybody to have a website absolutely free. Now, Google Sites is part of Google Drive. It's free. You can create a website with multiple pages. You can place text and images up on the website. They do have some themes available. And one of the things about having content on the web, a website, is that you can share URLs. You can create links to things. So if you want to create a document that people can access on the internet, or you can link to from another document like an email or other things like that, it's really, really convenient to do. So Google Sites is great. It's free. Called Blogger. Blogger allows you to publish an online journal. It's basically creating a newspaper, a newsletter, a online publication of your own, because blogging is a type of website capability that gives everything you publish a date and a timestamp on it. So you can publish web pages like you can on sites, but you can also publish something that's called articles. And articles are a little bit different. Articles are also known as posts. They create a broadcast to the internet called an RSS feed. So it's a source of RSS. RSS stands for really simple syndication. If you remember the days of syndicated columnists from the newspapers, where you'd have a columnist that wrote for, say, the Chicago Tribune or the New York Times or something like that, and their column was written for that newspaper, but it was syndicated. It went out to 20, 40, 60, 100, 500 newspapers and got republished in those newspapers. That's where the syndication part of RSS comes from, because you are publishing an article on your website, and the RSS technology that's built into the internet will automatically broadcast that you have a new article on your website to everybody on the internet. Now, it's a little bit like using a radio. If you have a radio and you want to listen to music, you have to turn it on. And if you want to listen to the broadcast of a particular station, you have to tune into that frequency. So every website that broadcasts RSS has a URL address for its broadcast. And so RSS software that can pick up RSS broadcasts allows people to tune in to those websites and receive a notification or a listing of what's new on that website. Here's what RSS solved back in the early, days of the internet. People would publish website articles in academic journals, information, universities, research, things like that. And say you were research on, solar energy, okay, and you wanted to keep up to date with the latest from 50 people that you knew were always coming up with new innovative resources and tools. You could subscribe to them by email if they sent out an email broadcast, or you could use something called RSS reader software that allowed you to subscribe to the website broadcast, and you would only see when there was a new document or new article published when you opened up your RSS reader. So you didn't get a lot of noise in your email. Now, social networks like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and other things like that have kind of picked up, and they actually incorporate, a lot of the similar technology where you post something on Facebook, but they distribute it to your people and contacts within Facebook. but you can actually send a blog article and have it republished on Facebook and LinkedIn and other places using tools that are available for marketers on RSS that allow you to auto-publish whenever you publish a new article. So you don't have to, subscribe to a lot of emails to get updates, because what happens with updates is you may think about going to visit a website, but you may forget. But you'd like to know when somebody has something new out there. And so you have the ability to do that. The other part about this thing where an article or blog post is people can make comments on your article. So you are an author, you own a website, you're publishing things, and they could be videos, they could be text, they could be pictures, and you have the ability to allow people to make comments on them. And so it's possible to build a community of feedback with Blogger. A website will have a web page on it, and a website can be one web page or it could be multiple, but Blogger is a form of online journaling, and Google makes both of these available for free. What I have open on the right is my Chrome browser. What I have open on the left is a document. We're gonna work with a document. Now, when I go to my Google account, which is indicated by my icon here in the upper right-hand corner, I have the ability to access my Google Apps by clicking on the waffle app icon here. And Google Sites is actually part of Google Drive. So you won't necessarily see it as a separate application here. You do see Blogger, which is a separate application, but Google Sites is a little bit different. So if I want to go to sites, I found it easy. When you go to your Google Drive, you can select a site, and it's considered something like docs, sheets, slides, forms, and sites. So if I just want to be on sites, and I can start a new site, blank, or project, or if I want to start a blank one, it's really easy to do. It doesn't cost anything to start a new site. So we can say, here's a new page title. I can call it Tech 8, for example. I could use an image or a header, and I have ways I can create information here for this website. I can create a table of contents. I can put buttons, dividers, spacers. So there's a lot of tools that are here. Or I could go right to themes, and I can pick a theme. Let's pick the Aristotle theme, and I can pick a color or a font style for it. And it gives me the ability to create pages if I want to. So there's a home page to every website. That's the home page. So I'm on the home page, and if I want to insert information, I can click on text box and drag it over here to the site and do things. Now, I'm a little bit confused by why this is doing it this way. So let me see if I can find a way to create a text box. There we go. I just had to click on it. As I say, I'm not that familiar with sites. So if I want to type something in, I can say, welcome to Sites, Google from Bob. Okay. I'll change that a little bit. I'll say, welcome to my site. And let me change the title. So I'm just clicking in the areas to edit here. Okay. So now I have just a home page here. If I want to create a new page, I can click on publish. It'll publish right away. I can create an address name for it, and creating the address name is something I have to create. So let's call it Tech Topic Monday, because that's not taken, and I can publish it to the web, and it's actually published and live on the web. I can actually view it on the internet. It opens up a new tab here. It's actually a live site. If I want to put some more things into it, I want to create another text box. I can click on text box. Now it brings something else. Here's this article. I wanted to write an article about clutter. So I picked up an article. I'm just going to copy the whole thing, and I'm going to copy it and paste it into here. Okay, so formatting can be a little bit different. It's generally best to save things in plain text, but it does pretty good putting something from Word in here. And then I can click, publish, and it updates it when I click on update. So it reviews I have to review the change, sorry. Okay, so let's see if it asks me to review the changes at the bottom. Usually that's there on Blogger, but I don't see it here. Review changes and publish. That's in the drop-down arrow. So this is included with your, so I can just go to publish and it's going to publish it with the new changes. So I've just published a website with one web page. Okay, so this is now available publicly. If I wanted to find out where it's located, I can find the link. I untitled it. Let me make a title. See it, Bob Cohen Tech Topic. Okay. And it saves it. As you work with Google Documents, things are saved. So I can add content blocks to it, where if I wanted to add a photo or an image, if I wanted to put an image in here, I can click on image and I can select or upload an image. I can embed a YouTube video here as well. So it gives me the ability, and I can create additional pages if I want to. So if I want to create pages, I can go to insert, and it'll give me the ability to create new pages, forms, docs, maps, other types of information that I might want to do with it. So I can create little content blocks if I want to that have pre-formatted layouts in certain areas for me as well. So Sites is a great way to just get a free website, put something up on there that you might want to have as a reference document. If you aren't going to update it very frequently, and it's saved in your Google Drive for you at any time. Now, Ken, you've used sites, you said? You've used sites in the past, you said?
Yes, I have. And it's a little bit different because I was at the point of transition between the old sites and the new sites. And the new sites was completely GUI driven.
Oh,
and
okay.
This one is basically you have your groups, your buttons, your deletes, dividers, and everything. But the other way, you can do it both ways, but you can actually have a GUI interface where you just drag and drop content.
Right. So this is a little bit, different. It's a basic tool. It's saved in Google Drive, but the advantage is 100% free. So for somebody trying to think about maybe starting a website, or for clubs or organizations, it's really good. It's really good. It's really useful and helpful to have. If you want to just have a website with some information on it, you can continue to publish new pages if you want to, and add to it over time if you're interested. So
why is the little icon Drive there under images?
Because that allows you to pull images from your Google Drive.
Okay.
So that if you are saving your images on Google Drive, you don't have to, or you want to get something from Google Drive, you don't have to go and copy and open another window and copy and paste things. So it's a convenient, nice little tool to use for basic websites. And for anybody that just say, hey, I want to put something up on the web with some information, that's great. You can always go and edit it if you want to, and comment and modify different areas of it if you're curious. And so you can reformat things to give something a bulleted list or other things like that. So you can use web formatting here, and if you select something and format it, you have the ability to create better text formatting if you choose to be able to do it. So there's ways you can modify, and you can incorporate docs, slides, sheets, forms, calendar, YouTube. So these are all connected to your Google account as well. So if you just wanted to have a simple website with a Google Calendar up on it, so people would know when there are meetings, you could pull up your calendar, like let's say holidays, and I want to insert holidays in the United States into this. It'll insert a calendar right in the website for you without you having to do anything. There are some editing tools like undo, redo. One of the nice things about Google's sites and also Blogger is it gives you a preview for what it's going to look like on a desktop, because this is very important now because about half the people use their tablets or smartphones to view a website, and it shows you what it's going to look like before you actually go if you want to know what it looks like. So just a nice, easy little tool to create a website in 5 minutes or something. Now, this is the link where you can share. If this is actually the URL of the website, it's sites.google.com/view/tech-topic-monday/home. I can copy this and I can email it or share it in chat or post it somewhere, and people can click on that link and they'll come to this website. So there's help functions, there's settings you can manage for the site. You can connect a custom domain to it if you want to. But you can also store brand images if you want to create a local. You can connect a custom domain if you want to make it into a domain name. You have to pay for a domain name, but you don't have to pay for a site on Google. And it's really easy to create a website by doing it this way. If you go to Pages, it gives you the ability to create a new page. You can create duplicated or add sub pages, or click on the plus button here to create a whole new web page for your website, and you can expand it. I don't know if there's a limit on how many separate pages they give you, but you can have other information that you might want to have in it available to you as well. So for somebody that, if you want to just maintain some information up there on the web and say, hey, I found this is great. But it's best for websites that don't change an awful lot. That's where it's most useful. Now I'll click refresh and we should see the published content here. There we go.
So Bob, it's free to anybody that has a Google account. Is that what you?
It's free for anybody with a Google account, and it's part of your free Google account.
Wow, it just looks so easy. It just
yeah, if you just want to put something on the web and publish something and make it available to the world, or you can send emails out, but you can also put a link out there and other people can share it and use it in different ways too. Now, some people like to publish on Facebook or LinkedIn or other places. This is your own site, so you have a little more control over how it's used and what you can do. And you can customize the HTML code as well. If you are a little more advanced and you know HTML, you can customize it in any way you want.
So like for my condo board, I could just use that for the condo board. It's called Condo Association 880, and that's it.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Amazing.
You can embed your PowerPoints and your spreadsheets in the document, Carl.
You could even put your puzzles up there, Carl. Sites is a great tool. Fantastic. Easy to use. There's a lot of help on Google about it. Because it's a Google product, there's just tremendous amount of help features available. They connect it to other things in your Google account. So if you wanted to embed a YouTube video in it, it's really easy to do from your YouTube account and other things like that. There's another type of tool that's available from Google. It's called Blogger. Blogger is listed in the application list here for a while. Remember, Sites is part of Drive, but Blogger is actually a separate application in Google. So if you are not a blogger already, you will get prompted to create your first blog. I actually have several blogs. Every time I do a class, I create a blog, and it'll take you to, when you log into Blogger, it'll take you to the last blog you currently looked at. So I have some different resources here and different websites that I create. Every time I do a blogging class, I create a new blog. You have a navigation menu on the left, and you can see it starts with the word posts. Post is what you typically do on a blog. Now, if I want to create a new blog, Blogger is, you log in, you see a dashboard, and you can choose create a new blog, which is what will happen the first time you do it. So we're going to create a new blog. We're going to create a name. We'll call it Tech Monday. And I'm going to call it, let's see, September 11th, okay, which is Memorial, where we have some ceremonies going on in the United States for that. Now, I have to create an address. I am getting a free subdomain from Google Blogger, which means that I can create something tech topic Monday, September, and I'll just call it September, okay? And it'll tell me if this name is available. This is like creating a Gmail address. If someone is using something at gmail.com, you can't use that name. If somebody's using something.blogspot.com, you can't use that URL. So, but this comes the link to your website. If you're creating a business or a brand or something you want people to find really, really, really easily, you would want to register a domain, but you can point your domain to this as well. Okay, so, and I'm just going to save it. Okay, now it's going to ask me for posts. Okay, I don't have any posts, but on the left, I've got some navigation, posts, statistics, comments. I can, people can comment on anything I post if I choose to allow them. I can make money by letting Google run ads on my website. That's how Google supports Blogger and YouTube and most of their other services they offer. They let people create a publication and they let people make money from it by letting Google run ads in it if they want to. I can create individual pages if I want to. I can manage the layout and the theme and some settings. The reading list is resources from Google. It's really nice. They give better experiences. They talk about updates that they've been doing. But let's take a look at posts. Now, what you'll see is something called New Post. If I click on New Post, it opens the editor. This is called a WYSIWYG editor. So if I can say how to get organized, okay, I'm going to use the same copy I used before. And I have some editing tools here that I can use to format text. And I can also insert photos, images, and links to other things, videos here. And I have emoticons. There's a more button here that gives me more editing tools to format my document. This is like a mini word processor. Okay. So if I'm just going to go to my copy here and I'm going to paste this in to my Blogger document and we'll see what happens. Maybe I didn't do it right. There we go. Okay. So it didn't really paste it as a text, to paste it as an image. So I want to delete this image and I'm going to change it. Okay. Sometimes it'll do that. Sometimes it'll paste text as an image if it comes from another type of document format. Okay. So Blogger is a little bit different from doing it that way. So let's see if I can get it to paste it again. And paste and match style. Let's see if that'll work. There we go. Well, it didn't. Okay, so I'm centered here. So let me select this and let me go to left by justification, align left here. Okay. So now I've got stuff pasted in here. Okay.
Is that a page in your Blogger thing? Is that a page?
This becomes a post. A post is a separate page on the internet. Okay, so every time you post something, it's a separate page. However, it's going to organize it. So what it'll do is, you can see How to Get Organized was published September 11th. Okay, so what happens is if I want to preview the website, I can view it and look at it in a slightly different way than I might want to look at it from just looking at it this way. So this is the content that I'm adding. I can look at a preview button here. It's an eyeball. And that gives me the ability to preview this page. Now, this is a post. So if I go back This is what the website's going to look like. It's going to say Tech Topic, Monday, September 11th. It automatically formatted a title, but it automatically put a date in the post for me. That's why it's called a post and not a page. The share button gives me the ability to share a link to social networks right away. So here's where Blogger becomes a little bit better. Okay, I want to create another article. Okay, so let's call this article something new thought about. Okay, and I want to bring in something, say, from YouTube. I can go to my YouTube channel, or I can upload tools that I find. So it let me search for a YouTube video. Let me see if I can find the one I did on machine learning. And there it is. So I can click on this, select it, and it'll insert the YouTube video in the blog. Okay. So now when I click on, I'm going to change the title. I'll call it, machine learning made easier. Okay. And now I want to click on publish. I'm going to confirm publishing it. Okay. So now you can see I've got an article a post called Machine Learning Made Easier. I've got another one, How to Get Organized. So what's happening is that I'm going to go to the preview function here on the site. And so here it is. I can adjust the size, but if I want to play this, it can be played. You can see people can enter comments. Love the guy in this video, right? Okay, and I'll publish. Okay, the comment. So the comments get posted below as well. So it's a way for people to interact and comment on things that they view without having to share emails back and forth. Okay, so what happens when we look at the main page of the website now? Okay, so now I've got an article published here, and I've got something else published right below it. So this becomes a chronological journal of things you want to publish. And so people it's a great way to create updates. If you think, I'm just going to create a web page that I want to have publicly available, or I want to have a website where I can update information and let people know something new, get the latest information up there when they want to get to it. So it just depends on what your purpose is in terms of doing the website. Now, we will see comments here. Okay, so here's the comment. Because I'm logged into Google, it says, here's this. I can manage this comment. I can mark it as spam, because there are some people that try to include links and comments to their websites. I can remove it if I want to, or I can delete it entirely. Okay. I can see stats of what's going on. There's no real data to show here because it's not a very big website. I can go back to posts, and I can look at my posts and edit them or modify them or unpublish them if I want to. So I can also create individual pages if I want to. A page is like what we had in sites. So if I have something, say a policy document that doesn't change much, or rules about using the laundry for an HOA that doesn't change very much, I could have a page about that, or I could put a page for somebody to contact me. Google has a free tool called Google Forms. So if you want to put a form on a page where people can put some information in about something, maybe they need service done or they want to report a problem, you could put a page on there as well, and people would have that navigation across the top of your website. There's a lot of layouts here, a lot more layouts. Okay, this layout is a drag and drop layout. Okay, so this is considered 2 columns. I've got a search tool, an about me, gadget. These eyes show that they're visible. If I want to edit them, I can change these. The archive is a history of things. I don't have AdSense. I don't have a list of pages, but I could add them just by clicking on this icon and changing it to showing it. It'll show any pages that I have. I can run ads if I want to. This is how most of the page body will look. Okay, so I have the ability to drag and drop this, and I have the ability to add what are called gadgets in each of these areas if I want to. So if I want, what is a gadget? A gadget is some code that somebody's already created that does something for you. So if you wanted to have an image that always appeared in a sidebar, or you wanted to have a list of standalone pages of your blog, or text that you wanted to put up, or other things that you were subscribed to, or let your users subscribe to your blog with feed readers, we can click that. We can just say feed. Okay, if I click that, that feed widget's going to show up on the page. So if I want to preview the page, I can go down to the preview button in the lower right, click on preview, and this shows preview, but if you click, people can click on different areas here and they'll find things that they're interested. I can search. So some of these icons don't work in the preview mode. We actually have to use them when we share the link, but they are there and they're available. So Blogger's a much more sophisticated tool than sites. It gives you a lot of options. It gives you hundreds of themes that you can choose from that are very colorful for anything you might be interested in. However, its main goal is for you to create updates very easily. So if you have something that updates on a regular basis, you want to create a new article. The article can be long, or it can be short, or it can be an embedded video or just a photo. So I've had people in my blogging class that have wanted to create a blog, like a journal, about their, cruise around the world, or a vacation, or something like this. Now, and you can create this, it'll stay up there as long as you've got an active Google account. Now, there are some things that are kind of nice about Blogger, that you can hide it, make it private, but you can give people permissions. So you can set the reader access to public, or you can set it so that only certain people could read it. So like if you were a club and you only wanted club members to read it, you could restrict it to readers that you invite. You can go up to 100 readers. So Blogger's free. There are options for blogging tools that give you the ability to add unlimited number of readers, like a member site. But if I set it up as custom readers and I save it, it's going to ask me to provide addresses for those readers that I create for them. You can have more authors. So if you wanted to have a way where 4 or 5 people could add content, and an author is somebody who can create a post. A reader is somebody that can comment on a post. So it works more like a traditional publication, like a newspaper or a magazine, where somebody publishes something. They're the authors that create the original articles, the publication. With Blogger, you own the publication. With a website, you own the website. So you are the owner of that information and content, and only authors are allowed to create original articles. However, users can make comments. Readers that read the article can make comments if you allow that. capability on there. So it kind of creates the separation more like a traditional journalist type of approach where an author or creator will write something, post something, and then a reader can make a comment and give people feedback on it if they want to give them feedback on it. So it's a very versatile tool. Blogging, I use Blogger to teach people how to do websites, how to create tools, because no matter what you're doing, these navigation tools and these WYSIWYG, what are called WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get, editors that give you the ability to create websites, and it'll always give you a date you published. Now, one of the cool things about Blogger and most blogs is that you can schedule a date and time when you want something published, so that if you want it published in the future, you can set it to automatically publish. So you could write articles or updates or events or information, and you could give people the ability, they would read it when it went live on your website. So it's a great way to update, to provide that information for people and give them the ability to view it whenever they're looking at it. The navigation on the left will take you back to your Blogger menu, and every Blogger site you create, every Google site you create in Google Sites has identical types of navigation, the way you manage your layout, your template. If you look at another website I've got that I use for the class, these things are all similar from one blog to another, and each blog is a separate independent website. So you have a lot of abilities to view it, and you can view this blog, looks completely different, but I have instructional video, instructional information on how to do it. Now, users visiting your website will not see this blue navigation bar. This is the navigation bar for me because I manage my site and I create a new post. But I have the ability, so if I go to another one where I looked at a different class we did, if I want to preview this one, it'll look entirely different because it's a different type of template. So it's very easy to create different types of websites, different layouts, different formats, and Google stores your information for you, although you do have the ability to download it and save it if you want to. So it's a great way for sharing information if you want to share information that may provide, that you may want to use to provide updates on it. And it's up to you how often you update it. It's something that I've taught in classes, and people have gone out and created blogs that evening. Blogger is one of the easiest website creation tools that's out there, because Google wants people to create online publications so that Google creates more content on the internet, and they give people the optional capability to run ads in their publication, just like a magazine or a newspaper can run ads, only it's your magazine or your newspaper that you're using. And it's possible to make a little money from it. Yeah, Reg, go ahead.
Well, I'm finding this quite interesting. I run this discussion group on Tuesday afternoon, and I usually put a reasonable amount of effort into preparing for the topic. In the past, I used to try doing like a short PowerPoint, introduce it, but I found it's essentially a discussion group with about 20 or so people, Americans and Canadians. The PowerPoint cut into the presentation. So the last little bit, I'm putting together as a Word document. I've tried sending it as a PDF. Seems that not everyone can read a PDF. So I've just been embedding it in my email. I'm getting ready to issue one today. And it's about 7 pages of a Word doc in 14 font. So it's a fair amount of text. I'm hoping people will read the damn thing. But I'm wondering if I could use a blog each week to post the information and tell people, hey, here's the background for today's topic. If you really want to be keener, go to that and read the blog. Is that could I do that?
That's exactly how it works, Reg. You got it perfect. You got it perfect. That you publish the article on the blog, and then you share a link to the article in the email so that people can read it along with your announcement.
And that also provides a history of the blogs you posted, so you can go back and refer. Very interesting. I might have to give this a try.
Yeah. So if people want to read the article after the discussion group, they can, or if they missed it, they could read the article anytime on the website.
Yeah, and if I did it in a blog, I'd have the capability of embedding like images or a graph, or sometimes, now that I'm just doing it with an email, I'm feeling restricted. Whereas with the PowerPoint, I used to be able to use graphs and what have you, make it look good. I'm going to have to give this some thought.
Give him an A on that, Bob. Give him an A on his paper there.
All right, there you go. You got 5
A.
stars there, Reg. 5 stars. So if I wanted to take this how to get organized, for example, and I want to add an image, let me go share screen here. Sorry about that. So I'm looking at this how to get organized article. And if I wanted to insert an image, I put my cursor somewhere. I'll hit a return, and that'll indicate where my cursor goes. I can go to the insert image. I can find a upload from my computer. It's going to let me choose files. You may not see this upload a window. So let me go to another way here. I can go to photos. Let's see, it's going to pull photos from my Google Photos. It pops up a window. Okay, so this will work. Let me share my screen here, close a few things out, get rid of some noise on the window. And let's see, let's go to share full screen. Okay, here's my desktop. Okay, so pops up the Zoom meeting window every time I share desktop. So, okay, so when I want to insert a photo here, I'll go to the photo icon, click on insert photo, and I'll go to photos. It'll pull up my Google Photos if I want to. So this is when I was bike riding in Tuscany. So I can select that. It has nothing to do with getting organized, but it allows me to put multiple photos in. If I don't like one, I can delete it. I do have a little bit of editing capability with the photo. I can make it left justify. I can make it different size if I want to. And I can make it into a link if I choose to. But it's easy to embed a photo wherever you want to, wherever you put the cursor. You can upload photos from your computer. If you've already published a photo to Blogger, it's in the Blogger database. And so it'll let you see things from the Blogger database you've already published. Yeah, Carl.
So you said before, if you have a Google account, you get sites free, right?
Yes.
What about Blogger?
Blogger is free as well. It's along with your Google account. If you look at the Google waffle, it shows you all of your applications that are available from Google that you can get. And Blogger is one of those applications that's included with Google, just like Google Earth, Google Keep, Google Chat, Translate, they're all there. Now, if you don't see it in your list, you can always go to blogger.com with Google and get to it that way.
Carl sort of asked the question I was going to ask is how again do I do this? But it seems pretty simple. You go to Google, you use those 9 buttons to select the blog, and then I have to set it up initially. And once I've got it set up, I can publish and what have you.
Yeah, you are a publisher because you're publishing something on the web. You are an administrator of the website because you have all the controls. You can even delete the website if you want to. And you are an editor because you choose what goes in and what doesn't go in. And you're an author because you're creating content. The great thing about blogging and why a lot of people like blogging as content creators is because once you get the setup done, Reg, you don't have to worry about it. You just have to, all you do is create posts and put your new articles up whenever you want to do it.
Yeah, that sounds really great. So yeah, thanks for this. This is something I had never thought of. I've not been happy with the way I'm doing things, but I didn't have any great ideas for how to change it up. And this has given me some food for thought, Bob. So thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Bob, you said before that when you name your Blogger account, it's a subdomain. A subdomain of what?
Blogger Services on Google uses the domain name blogspot.com.
Your subdomain.
So you are something, it's something before the dot blogspot.com, right. Just like it's something at gmail.com. So you just have to create a unique name for yourself. It's free, it doesn't cost anything. And so that subdomain doesn't cost anything for people to use. So it's great for clubs, organizations, nonprofits, other things. If you're trying to market, build a brand name, make it easy for people to find you on the web without knowing much about you, then a domain name is something that's worth registering at some point. But the services like website services from GoDaddy and Wix and Weebly and other things like that, they're built for people that want to, and you can actually copy HTML code and paste it into Blogger, so that if you did want to sell products, it doesn't restrict you. It's just a Blogger doesn't have a built-in e-commerce tool, but you can always put in a PayPal buy now button, for a product you create, or a donate now, or anything else you might want to do. So it doesn't really restrict you to do it, but it's also a great way to learn, is this enough for what I need? And for most people that want to put up a website, it's more than enough. I was working with a student that took my marketing class, and the way she sells her services is she says, I want people to contact me by email from my website. Then I set up a one-to-one phone call consultation with them. And then, so she doesn't even need to really sell anything on her website. Just her website's there just so it's easier for her clients to make it possible for other people to find her.
Another question. When was the first year? What year were people building their own websites? From what year? I'm just curious out of that,
Trying to remember who invented the World Wide Web. Can't remember the name of the person that's credited for it.
No, I meant who. When did people start building their own websites?
When the web was invented.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
I thought just in the last 20 years or something. Okay.
No, when the web was invented, because a website requires the web to exist. So the internet existed, and there were files that people could keep on the internet. And that was before the web. The web enabled people to use things like URLs and links to get to things. And then the WYSIWYG, the graphical user interface that we use, the web browser, was really what caused the web to explode. So it all kind of came pretty quickly after that. Hi, Reg. Yeah, got another question?
No, Carl, it was Tim Berners-Lee, a British scientist,
yes,
who invented the World Wide Web in 1989 while he was working at CERN.
So 1989.
Thank you, Red. 1989.
Oh, okay. But I just was wondering when people were like, if I had something really intelligent to say, and as Reg knows, I don't. I would want a website, and people would want websites. So so. I was just wondering when did it take off that people start build? When did it really take off that people started building their own websites? What year? That, and you're saying maybe from that year on. Okay.
Yeah, well, if you remember right, there was a huge .com rush to market right around 2000, the year 2000.
Yeah.
So if you look at 89 to 2000, the websites were really starting to populate a lot during that time. And we had websites that are no longer in business, that there was a big implosion in 2002. But there was a lot of there were old search engine technologies that were used in the 90s. So that's when it was starting. Now, I think in the 90s, well, most people were using dial-up internet. Okay, so if you look at, I don't know when we went from dial-up to DSL technology. DSL, digital subscriber line, gave people a lot faster internet connections because they could have a dedicated phone line in their home or business that they could use for connecting to the internet. And then it really started to take off after that, I think, when people got that high-speed connection.
Yeah, I'm just looking. It was April 30th, 1993, that the World Wide Web was first released to the public. God, it's hard to remember that that's only 30 years ago and how it's revolutionized so much.
And YouTube's been around for 15 years, I heard recently. So it's just, the pace of change has just, been incredible. We don't, it was a transformational, what they call a disruptive technology, right? But what a lot of people don't realize is that anybody can create a website and anybody can start to publish. A lot of people want to publish now on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn. They essentially have their own blog, but it's built into those platforms. Okay. You can republish your content. You saw Blogger gives the ability to share things to your Facebook account, your LinkedIn account, other things like that. So you can use that syndication capability inside a Blogger now as well. And there are more advanced tools for it for marketers and professionals too. But you can create a YouTube channel. Some people prefer creating videos, not writing. And so they just start a YouTube channel and they're called vloggers, and some people record audio and they're called podcasters. A podcast is an audio blog, in case you're wondering what a podcast is. Whenever you publish a new podcast episode as a creator, an RSS message is sent out from your podcast publishing tool so that people can subscribe to it in podcast applications. So these are just different tools that take advantage of that auto publishing capability.
I put my hand up to have a recommendation for another topic for you, Bob.
Oh, okay.
I follow a couple of YouTube things to do with sailing. I'm not a sailor, but I happen to do that. But I've also watched lots of others, and I wondered how they monetized it. Now, partly today you said that Google uses stuff. So if you had a class that talked about, I have no intention of trying to monetize anything because I know that Carl's got all the money being an accountant.
It's all just going to go to him anyway, right?
Yeah, but I am very curious. I'm thinking, I've been watching this gal. She's a Russian gal. Talk about life in Russia, but she's also been all over the place. I'm thinking, how the hell is she making money off this thing? So that would be an interesting topic if that interests you, Bob.
I actually, I have a draft. Well, it's almost complete, but I've never really done it as a class, but it's something I did prepare as a class called How to Monetize Content. And I've actually got an article on it because there are people that like say there's people that want to go into it and they say, I want to become a YouTube channel, creator and make millions of dollars like all these people do on YouTube, but you wonder how they make the money. And so, but also discovering there's just so many different ways to subscribe to things on YouTube as well that I'm just starting to really take advantage of. I was kind of a latecomer to learning how to find things, but I'm subscribing to channels and saving things for watch later and do other stuff like that. And the video that I posted, what is machine learning, is a attempt to make more videos on my YouTube channel as well. But yeah, okay, that's a good topic though. Yeah.
If you want to make a lot of money, and this goes to Ken, Reg is probably putting out a book, New Disruptive Technologies Coming in the Next Few Years. And I'm going to get that book and I'm going to invest in whatever he says is going to be the new, and I will be rich like him.
That's right. Yeah. There we go.
I'm not putting out any book, Bob. So just so we're clear on that.
Okay. Yeah, it's
that's the class, Bob. If you started if you had a class or Q&A on disruptive technologies, I mean, would that be a huge long list, or would that be a short list?
Ones that have happened, or
happened.
Ones that
happened and happened big. Would that be a big list? Or like,
I mean, you could take like the 10 most significant ones. We could ask ChatGPT, and I could come up with a list of 10. But if you think of them, like one of them is the invention of concrete by the Romans. That was pretty disruptive. I mean, the Romans figured out how to make concrete that is usable and that will cure underwater. I think that's amazing. So that changed how we build things a lot, But the other is the movable type, that was invented, and other things. So there are a lot of things about lenses for optics.
Yeah.
I think all four of us have lenses, but if you think about optics and how they're used, it gave us the ability to discover microbes. If somebody hadn't created the ability to create lenses. So there's a lot of technologies maybe that people, but it's kind of an interesting topic. Something maybe for our Tech 8 group.
What about vaccines, Bob? Vaccines. Do you think that's like a disruptive technology, vaccines? Because one guy says that's the most potent thing for a country to be successful is to have vaccines. That is number one economy builder.
It changed our lifespan a lot,
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a problem if they discover ways to keep us living another 100 years. How are they going to keep make room for other people too?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, vaccines changed the lifespan of people, survival rate. Plumbing, fresh water supplies. The ability to have a water supply. So some things are more disruptive. I mean, we think of technology, right? The web has changed a lot of things, but there's always being able to create synthetic or computer models of vaccines. Has changed things. It got us to time to market a lot differently too. Agriculture. I mean, there's a lot of things that are incredibly disruptive in technologies that have changed things. For a long time human beings went for hundreds and hundreds of years without really increasing the yields from their farms very much, and then farming technology changed.
What do you call what the farmers use, all the not the pesticide, the stuff they add to the ground,
fertilizers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But also creates other problems too. Now we got to get rid of the waste and the runoff too.
Yeah.
Well, good topic for Tech 8, disruptive technologies. Okay, guys. Well, thank you everybody for coming today. Appreciate it. Glad to see there's some interest in understanding at least these things, and it opens up new options. Like you said, Reg, I think it'd be a very useful tool for what you're trying to accomplish. And Carl, if he's willing to share more of his, hidden expertise with us, maybe we'll get him to do a website someday. Thanks a lot, Bob. See you guys later.